Welcome to
Theories
of the third kind.
Welcome to Theories of the Third Kind. My name is Aaron. The other host joining me today is Danielson.
Hello.
Now, before we start today's episode, we do have a quick announcement to make.
If you would like to support the show, you can do so by joining our premium subscription service, Supercast. For just $6.66 a month, you can get weekly premium audio episodes that are all ad-free and access to our entire back catalog of our
Premium audio episodes that are all ad-free as well. Also, if you're a big baller shot caller and you ride on
21s?
No, not 21s, 20-inch blades. God dang. On your Impala, and you want to be a baller. Well, you can sign up to our video service for $9.99 a month and get access to not only all of the premium audio episodes, but also the video versions of them as well. They're also all ad-free. So you can sign up to this service by going to our website, theoriesofthethirdkind.com, and there is going to be a big button that says Supercast. You click on it and it will take you over there and you can sign up and connect your phone to it. And yeah.
Now, we know things are tough out there right now, so if you can't afford a premium membership, but you still want to help us out, you can do so by leaving us a written review on iTunes or Spotify.
That helps us out a lot.
However, don't feel pressure to leave us one. If you don't want to, that's fine. We just want you guys, girls, aliens, reptilians, Bigfoot, Sasquatches, Chupacabras, ghosts, Illuminati members, underground lizard people, whoever or whatever you are, to enjoy the show. Also, remember, our content is entirely human-made. No AI were used or harmed in the process, other than for graphics. We just beat the shit out of the AI, be like, make us a graphic.
And it makes it for us. It does what it's told. It does what daddy says.
Or it gets DOSed again.
Yeah. All right. So that's the end of the announcements. And today's episode is over the UFO Egg Whistleblower, Jacob Barber. And to understand and to start off this entire episode today, we're going to first talk about who is Jacob Barber. So Dan, can you kick that off for us?
Absolutely. So there's this guy named Jacob Barber. For the past 30 years, he's been working for the U.S. government and its intelligence partners, both officially and unofficially. He's been living in the shadows, doing stuff most of us can't even imagine.
So back in the late 1990s, Barber was an airman in the U.S. Air Force. He started off as an aerospace mechanic, fixing planes and all that stuff. But here's the thing. He wasn't just your average mechanic. He was highly skilled. So skilled, in fact, that he got recruited into Air Force Special Operations inside of this elite unit called Combat Control.
Now, this combat control is like the special forces of the Air Force. They are the ones who go in, set up airfields in hostile territory, call in airstrikes, and do all kinds of high-stakes missions.
And Barber wasn't just a part of it. He excelled in this area. He became a helicopter pilot, a free-fall parachutist, and an expert marksman. Oh, and he also had NATO top-secret security clearance, so he was operating at the highest levels. He could go wherever he wanted and do whatever he wanted.
So after his time in the Air Force, Barber started working non-officially for the Defense Department and intelligence community. That means he wasn't just a government employee anymore. He was doing off-the-book stuff. And Barber was even deployed on a bunch of presidential support missions. He was out there protecting the president. Get behind me, Mr. President. I got you.
So the craziest part of all of this is that during Jacob's time as a contracted helicopter pilot, he was sent out to retrieve downed aircraft that had crashed. But it wasn't just any aircraft. Jacob claims that some of these aircraft that he recovered weren't exactly human-made. He was convinced that some of them were of non-human origin. UAPs, UFOs, aliens and shit.
Now, keep in mind that this isn't some random individual making these claims. This is a highly trained, highly decorated Air Force operative with a top secret clearance.
So his word holds credibility. And that is who Jacob Barber is. And on Saturday, January 18th, 2025, which was not too long ago, he did an exclusive interview with News Nation, whistleblowing on the United States government, discussing his experiences recovering UAPs that were a part of an under-the-radar UFO retrieval program, along with a bunch of other astonishing claims never heard before, like the government is or has these individuals with superpowers, and that he had to recover these special hard drives that other, I guess, defense contractors hid or something. It's crazy stories he was telling. Yeah. And that is what we're going to get into. The interview that Jacob Barber did and all of his claims. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. At the start of every year, we get 365 blank pages waiting to be filled up. So what do you want your 2025 story to be? Do you want it to be an epic one? Do you want to not spend your days laying in bed wondering, am I ever going to be good enough? Why does my mother always yell at me? Why does my father hate me? Do not bring these unrealistic thoughts into 2025. Do not use them to fill your pages of your year.
Revise your story. Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up that pen and becoming the author of your own life. Write out the rest of your year.
Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and creating a meaningful story that you deserve to live. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve daddy to love you.
I will write that into my story.
Being serious here, therapy is extremely beneficial. I go to therapy all the time. And if you're thinking about joining therapy, I would suggest BetterHelp.
BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Write your story with BetterHelp.
Visit betterhelp.com/theories today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/theories.
All right, Dan, so do you want to start that off for us?
Of course. So during the interview, Jacob stated that everything changed after September 11th, 2001.
Never
forget. He left the Air Force and was sent to California to establish his cover as an independent contractor. Why? Because he was being prepped for something big, something that would eventually lead him straight into the world of UAPs.
Barber became a contracted helicopter pilot and was part of a team assigned to retrieve crashed aircraft at an undisclosed testing facility in the desert. So like we previously mentioned during his little short bio, he was a part of that special operative team. He was a helicopter pilot, and this team was sent out to retrieve crashed aircrafts or just crashed things. And he retrieved these at a place called the Range, which was in the desert. And this range was where the United States government and its private partners tested all kinds of things. They tested weapon systems there, experimental craft, you name it, they tested it there. Fleshlights, they tested them there. And according to him, this is when things started to get strange, is when he started recovering these crashed UAPs, is what he calls them.
Now, out on the range, Barber began seeing things that didn't make sense. Objects that would disappear, reappear, moving incredibly fast, change colors, or even change shapes.
His team was tasked with recovering these crashed unknown aircrafts or crafts, and some of them, he said, were, and we quote, exotic in nature. These crafts were classified, and Barber stated that once his team recovered them, they would have to take them back to secure facilities, and they were locked away. The crafts, not his team.
But here's the thing. Barber is convinced that some of these crafts weren't human-made. One of the most striking objects he described was this metallic, pearly white egg-shaped thing about the size of an SUV. He got within 100 feet of it while operating under night vision goggles.
So it was like this round egg-shaped UFO that was the size of a SUV. And he stated that this craft had no engine, had no thermal signature, so it wasn't putting off heat. It had nothing. It was just smooth. It was a smooth, otherworldly object just sitting there in the desert. And it was at this point when his team flew their helicopter over it, picked it up and retrieved it and took it to a secure facility, that his entire team knew that they were dealing with something extraordinary and out of this world.
So Barber stated that the reactions from his leadership and his own experience working in that capacity convinced him it was non-human origin. And over the last couple of years, ranking members of the UAP task force confirmed to him that what he was dealing with that night was in fact non-human intelligence, NHI.
Barber still doesn't know exactly what that object was or where it is housed or being kept at. His role on the project ended as a helicopter pilot, flying the helicopter and retrieving these crashed aircraft only during nighttime. And they ended his project once he delivered this object to a secure facility. But that wasn't his only encounter with the unexplained. There was plenty of other. Like, it wasn't just, one retrieval of this egg-shaped UFO, and then they ended his, contract. That was one of many.
There was another object he called the egg gun, a flying disc with 8 distinct sections. Barber saw it from above because, as a helicopter pilot, that's primarily how he viewed it. They recovered more than one of these 8 guns during his operations. Such a weird name.
Yeah. Now, here's where it gets even wilder. During one of those recovery missions of these 8 guns, Barber had what he describes as one of the most profound experiences of his life. As he was retrieving one of these crafts one night, flying his helicopter right over it, as he got closer and closer to the recovery site of these 8 guns, or one of these 8 guns, he started feeling odd. He started feeling extremely emotional, as if his estrogen levels were too high.
The closer he got, the more the emotion overwhelmed him. He felt this intense mix of sadness, happiness, beauty, and even a sense of song. It was so disruptive that it made it hard for him to focus on flying the helicopter at night in the mountains.
Barber said it didn't feel like an emotional breakdown. It felt like something connected with him, like some kind of energy or frequency tuned into his soul. It wasn't like a soul, though, that tuned into him. It was like a frequency that he was connected to, that this Adatron or Adagon fucking UFO transformer thingy, for some reason, put out this frequency that connected to his soul. And the experience was so overwhelming for him that he began to cry while he was flying his helicopter. Can you imagine that? In the middle of the night, you're in a top secret retrieval mission. Your helicopter pilot just starts bursting out in tears. You're like, whoa, that's like the most important person on the mission.
Just like his co-pilot's just sitting there, looks over. The guy's just crying. He's just like, just looking out the side. Yeah, everything's good over this side. Just like keep staring over there. Like,
yeah.
Awkward.
Speaking of helicopters, did you see what happened last night?
Oh, the Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, the Black Hawk helicopter, American Airlines plane ran right into or the helicopter ran into it, or it ran into the helicopter. Regardless, they collided. Over 60 people died.
That's one reason when I fly, I don't like having the window open.
I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
I don't want to see it happen, though. That's like my thing, because I'm always looking out the window. I'm just like, is there anything else around? I mean, not like I can do anything to stop it, but
they say flying safe. I don't think flying's safer than driving. Driving, I have control. Flying, I don't. But regardless.
But there's more people driving than flying.
That's true. Thoughts go out to the families affected in that crash. We hope everything's okay. And we know it's probably not, but thoughts and well wishes, and we send you love.
Yeah, condolences.
All right. So back to the story. Barber was sitting there, flying the helicopter, retrieving one of these Adagon thingies, and he just gets super emotional. Some frequency coming off of this UAP connects to him in his soul, and he starts bawling.
Barber said that he'd never felt anything like that before, and whatever that force was, it stayed with him ever since. He believes it's guiding him and providing protection for him now.
And that part of the interview was pretty much the main part of the interview with Jacob Barber and the main part that we wanted to cover today. Now, there are other interesting things that he stated during the interview that we're going to discuss here in a bit during Strange Facts and Findings, but we are going to transition over into Strange Facts and Findings and talk about the first part with News Nation and what they released shortly after.
All right, so our first strange fact and finding is about News Nation. Now, shortly after the interview with Jacob Barber, News Nation stated that they had independently obtained some very odd footage. This footage is supposedly from a helicopter's point of view. It is during nighttime and shows a tether coming down from the helicopter during night, retrieving an egg-shaped UFO and transporting it to a location.
So it pretty much collaborates one of the claims that Jacob made as the helicopter pilot, that they retrieved an egg-shaped UFO at nighttime.
Mhm.
And this footage is green, so it's night vision. And we do have a short video clip that we are going to show of this retrieval. However, if YouTube slaps us with a copyright strike or copyright claim, we're just going to say, okay, whenever we say, all right, here's the footage, it's just going to skip forward to the footage being over with. And then you can go to our website, theoriesofthethirdkind.com, find the video there and watch it there. Because playing 1 minute of footage and then being able to claim News Nation would be the ones to do it. Claim our entire episode is crazy. Not like we earn money off of anything. Anyway, we don't earn any money off of YouTube at all.
No.
So it's just statistical, and it gives us a little ding on our YouTube resume. But anyway, we have this video and we're going to watch it. And again, if we get slapped with any type of copyright, we're just going to skip right fucking forward. And you can go to our website and watch it. But we're going to play it right now.
News Nation has independently obtained previously unseen video obtained from a secret UAP craft retrieval program. This extraordinary footage clearly shows an egg-shaped object dangling in a sling below the belly of a helicopter.
Let's slow this down to take a closer look. That's an egg-shaped UAP suspended from a 150-foot long line. We're told the craft is about 20 feet long. The egg suspended in a cradle. And look how careful the pilot is as they bring their precious cargo into land. Let's freeze frame here to look at one of the clearest images of a UAP ever taken. This is no blurry light in a distant sky. The source of the footage putting themselves at incredible risk to record this UAP retrieval. Look at how perfectly smooth the craft is. No markings at all, and no visible means of propulsion or way to see inside. Watch how it rolls, almost graceful as it hits the ground, despite being wrapped in the ropes and canvas from the cradle as it's dropped for pickup.
So that right there was the video. What do you think of that? I could have recreated that video in 5 minutes. Go downstairs, get me an egg, get me a little piece of rope.
Yeah. Go outside and or get like a little shitty night vision camera that you get off of like TikTok or something.
Record it and throw it in Adobe Premiere Pro and throw the night vision thing over it, lens over it, and I don't know, man.
You know what? I think we should do that. Just for the hell of it. Just do like a little 5 minutes. We found this egg-shaped UFO.
What do you think of that? It's not the most clearest UAP photograph ever taken. Sorry, News Nation, it's not. I've seen way more better ones.
He definitely over-exaggerated that. I mean, it is very interesting, but oh, look how it rolls. Pause it right here. It's the clearest UFO. It's not clear because now it's in night vision.
Ross is his name. The guy who was doing the audio voiceover, and the guy at the start of it. Ross is his name. He's also the one that did the interview with Barber. He looks like a fucking reptilian. Ross, you look like a reptilian.
All I know is whatever camera he was using at the very beginning was very weird. And the angle and I don't know, it just looked like he wasn't real.
Anyway, very odd footage. We would love your opinion on it. If you want to send us an email and tell us your opinion, you can. However, it'd probably be easier if you go and watch us on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, just comment down below and tell us what your opinion is. We would love to hear from you.
That's right.
All right, so that right there is our first strange fact and finding. Let's get into our next one, which is called historical sightings. So as we dove deeper into researching this topic, we decided to step into our massive library and see if there had been any previous sightings of UFOs that were egg-shaped. Now, as we spent hours and hours delving deeper and deeper into these UFO files that we have, boxes upon boxes, 3 rooms filled with UFO files, we discovered some very odd coincidences.
Like the 1964 Lonnie Zamoria incident in New Mexico, where a police officer witnessed an egg-shaped craft leaving scorch marks on the ground. Also in 1989, an egg-shaped object was seen by multiple witnesses in Russia, and this became known as the Voronezh UFO encounter. And those are just 2 examples of multiple reports of egg-shaped crafts throughout the decades.
There are a ton more. And by the way, that Voronezh UFO encounter, we did an episode over that, April of 2024?
April 2024.
Yeah. So if you want to, go take a listen to that. Was it premium or regular?
It was premium.
Premium. Yeah. Go take a listen. It's a good one. All right, Dan. So why don't you tell us about this next strange fact and finding?
Our next strange fact and finding is about additional information that Jacob Barber released during his interview. So like we mentioned earlier, during the interview with News Nation, Jacob Barber mentioned a lot of other odd things, and we're going to cover each one. So, and the first one being something called psionics.
So Barber stated that the missions he did whenever he recovered these crashed UAPs, he stated that whenever they were recovered and they had previously crashed, them crashing was no accident. He claims that these UAPs were summoned by a special team with special abilities. These individuals were called psionics.
Barber stated that psionics are people with a predisposition for extratemporal abilities and sensitivities, more commonly referred to as people with alleged psychic powers.
Barber stated, and we quote, "In the program, there were certainly a desire to explore the idea that perhaps UAPs could be summoned, could be communicated with, could be controlled, and could be persuaded to land, all by deploying people with psionic abilities to interface and communicate with the UAPs." End quote. So what he's saying is that the United States government has a special team of these
Psionics.
of these individuals that have this psionic ability. They're called the psionics, and they stand out in the desert in this testing range, and they summon these UAPs, and then they either land or they get shot down by the CIA and they crash. And then Barber would go and retrieve them with his helicopter and his team. You know what? It's very odd that he brought this up and he stated this, because I've seen multiple videos online of individuals claiming they can summon UAPs or they can communicate with them. Even way back in the day, I saw a video of an older gentleman stating that he could communicate with them. And you know, we did that episode over Stella Lansing, and she supposedly had the camera that caught photographs of UAPs that weren't there, but there was a theory that she had the ability to communicate with them when others couldn't. So what if that's true? What if there are individuals who can communicate with UAPs? It would make sense, because Barber did state that he picked up on a frequency. And what if that's what it is? You change your brain's frequency and can get on the same wavelength as these UAPs and communicate with them.
There was that one guy that we didn't do like an episode on him per se, but it was like on UAPs.
Yeah, he would claim that he could summon them in the middle of the day.
And like they were just interviewing him out there, and he's just like, yeah, I'd just be out here just looking up to the sky trying to summon them. And when he was doing that, boom.
The news, I think, was doing an interview of him, and one showed up. Yeah. If you or a loved one can summon UAPs with your mind, please comment down below or send us an email. We would love to hear from you.
The only thing that makes me question it, though, is like, this makes extraterrestrials sound stupid.
Why?
Because you got these psionics that they just keep summoning the UAPs and they either crash.
Oh, it's a trap.
Yeah.
It won't be a trap this time. Oh,
yeah, it won't be a trap this time. Damn, he crashed. What happened? Must have been a malfunction. Malfunction in the ship.
What if these UAPs are not crafts themselves? What if they're not, a ship? What if they are a being themselves?
Like that,
like the movie, that one movie.
Oh, what was that movie called? Such a great movie.
Yeah, I forget the name of it. It's directed and created by Jordan Peele.
Nope.
Yeah, great movie. In that movie, the UAPs were a living being that sucked up people and then processed them and then spit out like their coins and all the stuff that it couldn't process.
When it flew over you, you could hear the people screaming inside of it.
That was crazy.
That's, ugh.
Yeah, scary. Anyway, so that right there was one of the claims, or one of the other claims that Barber made during his interview, aka whistleblowing. And one of the other things that Barber talked about in his interview was regarding the health of himself and all of those involved in encountering these UAPs. Barber stated, "We transported what we called mystery boxes all of the time. I have no idea what was in it. It could have been empty. It probably wasn't empty, but we don't know what was inside these boxes."
Barber and his team, however, were authorized to use lethal force to protect their shipments should someone attempt to seize them. After this particular mission, I and everyone on my team got extremely sick, like physically ill, in the hospital. Within weeks after this, I lost every hair on my body, which they call alopecia. I also lost the skin on my arms, so the skin's actually falling off your body, and I ended up developing a severe heart murmur that I've never had before.
So that was one of his other claims.
That like radiation poisoning?
1,000% is what I was thinking. That's the only thing that would cause that, unless there is some other type of thing out there that is causing health issues, which...
I mean, that to me, first thing that comes to mind is like radiation poisoning.
Yeah, 1,000%. Maybe these UAPs operate off of a radioisotope. I don't know. We may never know.
May never know.
All right. So one of the last things that Barber mentioned in his interview was about his skills needing to be used by private companies that were involved in this program. Barber stated that his assignments took a turn from recovering UAPs that have crashed or that have landed to something more sinister.
He would go on to say, "We were deployed on a particular task to recover what we call HVTs, or high-value targets. Those high-value targets were Panasonic tough books. The sensitive material that is on these tough books has to do with sensor data, video that was illegally captured during some of these operations, some of which may be incriminating or classified now."
Barber said the company contracting him was determined to cover up these laptops' existence. He goes on to say, "We recovered our first 2 tough books. We got back to our base location and then went through them and took photographs. Then we discovered that the hard drives were missing."
Barber said the next piece of intelligence that came through led them to a lake where they found the hard drives in a sealed steel container 25 feet underwater. Yeah, so someone's going through a lot of effort in order to hide these things, Barber said. What began as a straightforward recovery mission proved to be anything but simple, and Barber says things soon took a nefarious turn.
The very next time we went out, things got strange for me. My spidey senses, my intuition, was on high alert because our intel contact changed. The rhythm and style of our intel changed. As we got closer to the day in which we were going to deploy, intelligence kept changing. That raised my concern, and we ended up going anyway. When we got there, The high-value targets, HVTs, were gone, and it was clear that shots had been fired in that area.
Barber was worried he was in significant danger and possibly being set up. We were being prepared for the one thing that we've always offered employers, and that is plausible deniability, and that we were perhaps going to be the hidden hand that gets severed, he said.
Barber was convinced his former employer, or someone pretending to be them, was determined to kill him. Barber was then on the hunt, using his skills and vast network of contacts to determine who was behind this shadow war that was being fought over those missing hard drives. So he started investigating it, and he said that the trail led him right to the top.
Last spring, Barber and his team were in Washington, D.C., conducting surveillance, and eventually confronting one of their prime suspects. I reached out to the director of security for the particular organization and a sister organization and set up a meeting with them because there were only two truths in my mind. Either they were complicit or they were compromised. Barber said he got in contact with the head of security of his former private aerospace company and was basically told to forget it.
So that was the last piece of information regarding the interview with Jacob Barber, and that is very disturbing that there was some war going on between those hard drives. So the tough books were stolen, the hard drives were then stolen out of them and then buried underwater 25 feet in a steel container. And he went to go recover more and found out that they were missing the high value targets and that there had been shots fired. So some departments or some, I don't know, other government or independent contractors or something were trying to get that information and keep it for themselves. And the other ones were trying to get rid of it or get it and then get rid of it.
Why didn't they just destroy it instead of just put it in a steel box and...
Well, my thing was, I think whoever put it in a steel box and buried it was the ones who stole it to keep it for themselves. They stole the tough books, separated the hard drives from them, and then buried the hard drives to either use as blackmail or to later on say, hey, on my deathbed, the hard drives are buried here in this lake 25 feet down in a steel container. And it shows that the United States government has the capability to recover these these UAPs, which on there, he did say that there were videos of them recovering these UAPs. So yeah, strange. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. At the start of every year, we get 365 blank pages waiting to be filled up. So what do you want your 2025 story to be? Do you want it to be an epic one? Do you want to not spend your days laying in bed wondering, am I ever going to be good enough? Why does my mother always yell at me? Why does my father hate me? Do not bring these unrealistic thoughts into 2025. Do not use them to fill your pages of your year.
Revise your story. Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up that pen and becoming the author of your own life. Write out the rest of your year.
Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and creating a meaningful story that you deserve to live. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved. You deserve daddy to love you.
I will write that into my story.
Being serious here, therapy is extremely beneficial. I go to therapy all the time. And if you're thinking about joining therapy, I would suggest BetterHelp.
BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Write your story with BetterHelp.
Visit betterhelp.com/theories today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/theories.
All right, so let's get on to our last strange fact and finding, which is about a 4chan post. And if you aren't familiar with the website 4chan, it's pretty much a website that you can go to where individuals can anonymously post certain things. Most of the time, they post, all the time, they post a graphic on a subpart of 4chan. And there's different parts of 4chan. There's the X board, which is considered the paranormal board. There's the poll board, POL, which is considered the politically incorrect. There's the B board, which is like the random board. And then you got all the other degenerate boards like, I don't know what all those other ones are. I've never really explored that site too long to know that. But what I do know is that 4chan has a lot of whistleblowers go on there to release classified information, believe it or not, anonymously. And that is what our next strange fact and finding is about. All right. So Jacob Barber's interview came out on a Saturday. Well, that following Monday morning, an individual had gone on the website of 4chan, an anonymous person, and made a post claiming that, hey, here are some images and videos of the egg-shaped UAP that News Nation released a video of. So that video we watched earlier from News Nation that showed basically from the top-down view of an egg being recovered, which this egg was supposedly the top secret UAP craft. Well, this individual made a post on 4chan of this egg-shaped UAP, and it was additional photographs. And the photographs showed this egg-shaped object inside of a cave. And the individual claimed that in 2022, this UAP that was in the shape of an egg was discovered in an Antarctica cave. There's a ton of information about this, ton of photographs. And in the photographs, you can actually see like etchings on the side of the egg, which are very odd. But we aren't going to get into it too much because our premium episode today, we actually go over that entire 4chan post. We go over the photographs and details, and we analyze everything. And it is very odd and strange because not only was there a UFO or UAP egg that was found in this Antarctica cave, but also a coffin with a being inside of it as well. And all of it is supposedly of ancient origins, like from way back in the day. And the United States government retrieved it, supposedly. But like I said, we aren't going to get too deep into it. Just kind of wanted to cover the surface. If you want to hear more about it, go to our website, theoriesofthethirdkind.com, click on the Supercast link and sign up for, or sign up to become a Supercast member. And yeah, you can take a listen to that episode. It's quite good. All right. So that right there was the end of our strange facts and findings. Now we are going to get into our theories section.
All right. So our first theory is that this is real. The UFO whistleblower claims are 100% real, that aliens are riding around in egg-shaped UFO UAPs.
Or that these UAPs are aliens themselves, that the entire craft is a being, that there aren't little bitty beings that climb into it and drive it around. It itself is a being. These aliens that we see that are depicted on TV are connected to it through their mind. And they use it as kind of like a device to fly around in surveillance areas or surveil areas. Yeah, drones for them.
I could see that.
Yeah. They like, and it picks up and flies around. It's kind of like their dogs, right? They're fetch dogs. So whenever you take your hunting dog with you, whenever you go shoot doves or whatever, and they go fetch it, or ducks. It's kind of like that for the aliens. They go, hey, go fetch me a human.
Except it seems like these ones keep failing because, all right, we're going to send you after a human that's summoning you. Oh, it crashed.
Well, maybe these things are like dogs. I mean, if you have a dog and somebody can come up and be like, hey, come here, come here, come here. The dog will come up to pretty much anybody, you know. Coda
would
run, right? So imagine Coda being the egg and you being the alien that controls it, right? If I'm a human and I walk up and I have the ability to summon Coda, he's going to come to me. So maybe that's the case here.
Could be. Coda's an alien.
So that's one of the theories. The next theory we have is called hoax. This theory states pretty much the entire whistleblower faked and lied about all of this for views and attention, or that News Nation, I don't know, made it up for attention and publicity to their website. That one's kind of hard to believe just because of his credentials. And
I mean, does he have like any books coming out, any movies coming out?
No.
So pretty much he hasn't done anything that would actually...
No financial incentives.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a hard time believing this one, mainly because no financial incentives. The only financial incentive would be that of News Nation. They're getting more publicity, more eyes, means more ad revenue.
Yeah, because it's pretty much an exclusive story to them.
Yeah. Covered by Ross, the reptilian.
The reptilian.
All right, Dan, tell us about this next.
Well, our next theory is called government plant. Jacob is a government plant to get people to pay attention to this fake news while something else is happening in the background that the government doesn't want you to see.
I believe this one more than it being a hoax entirely, him lying about it entirely, based upon him not wanting to lose credibility, right? So I say that maybe this is just an additional mission for him. Hey, we need you to go lie to the public or tell this story to the public. Whether it's real or not, we want you to go leak it because we have other shit going on in the background that we cannot have eyes on. We want eyes somewhere else.
I'm trying to think what could be going on that, like right now, that they would need a distraction.
Well, it's definitely not the New Jersey drones. Trump already came out and declared what those were.
Did he finally come out and say what they were?
He finally came out and said what they were.
I know during when he was signing executive orders, someone asked him and he's just like, I don't know, can we find out? He's like, he stopped signing and he's just like, can you find out what those are for us?
They were all government drones doing surveillance. And other drones, as the drones started getting more and more, they stated that the more and more drones were hobbyist drones, people adding their own personal drones in there. But the main drones were just government drones operating at night doing surveillance testing.
I don't know. I saw actually on Facebook Marketplace around here, someone was selling a drone that they use for farming that they use like to spray pesticide or stuff on their crops. It looked exactly like those drones. Like it was huge. It had all the colored lights on it like you're supposed to and all that shit. So I'm just like, I mean, that would make sense. Hobbyists could get hold of that or government using it, maybe spraying chemicals. Who knows?
Turning the frogs gay.
Oh, man.
Oh, turning everyone gay. Everybody's a little gay. All right. So our last theory is called WASP Light, WASP. So the WASP Light aerostat is a compact unmanned aerial system, also known as a UAS. They love their acronyms. And I fucking hate acronyms, by the way.
Just like nukes.
Yeah. That can be deployed quickly to provide tactical capabilities on a battlefield. It's a smaller, more mobile version of the WASP, a blimp-like device developed by Drone Aviation. This theory is that the video that was released by the News Nation of this egg being recovered, this craft, was not a UAP craft of extraterrestrial origin. Instead, it was a WASP light being recovered at nighttime. Now, the reason it was being recovered at nighttime is because it was not supposed to be there at that location. It was secretly surveilling a target in the area. Then the WASP ended up crashing. So they had to wait until nighttime to recover it. And we do have a photograph of what one of these WASP light things look like. It looks like a blimp. It looks just like the egg. We'll throw a picture up right there of it being on the back of a truck transported. That's what it looks like. Same size, right?
Does.
And same smoothness. So do you think visually, we're just going to say visually.
Visually, it does look like the WASP light.
The egg video that was released by News Nation. It does look like the WASP light. It's same size that was described because they described it as a size of a SUV. And it's same color, same shape.
The only thing, though, is that honestly doesn't look like it weighs that much that it would need a helicopter to go and get it.
Well, here's the thing. If it's surveilling a closed off area that they're not supposed to be at, and it's not supposed
aerial
to do
recovery.
It's doing an aerial recovery. You send in a helicopter to do an aerial recovery at nighttime under the radar. They would use that rope, that tow line, because look at the tow line and look how much slack is in it. It's not tight. If it was fucking like 80,000 pounds, like a RCP, reactor coolant pump motor, those friggin' ropes and restraints are super tight. It's loose. The meaning this object it's recovering is loose. They're not loose, light.
Is this the thing that they fill up? Because I think it said the last time we covered a UFO, it looked like this. It fills up with air, flies in the air, and it has like a rope attached to it, and then a plane comes by and picks it up.
Mm-mm. This is just kind of like a blimp.
An unmanned aerial system that can be deployed quickly to provide tactical capabilities on the battlefield.
Yeah. Regardless, that's our last theory, that the video was just of a wasp light being recovered, and that we don't know if the whistleblower's claims are real or not, but the video provided by News Nation was just of a drone being recovered. And now we're going to roll into our own personal thoughts and theories. And I'm going to ask you, Dan, do you believe Jacob Barber's claims are real? Yes or no?
I'm going to say no.
Why? What's your reasoning behind no? Do you think he has a financial incentive? Do you think he's doing a wag the dog for the government? Do you think maybe he had like a brain injury and he's making these things up in his head? Or do you think he is positioning himself to release a book or some financial incentive off of, him making stuff up and writing off his credentials?
I would go off of wag the tail.
Wag the dog.
Yeah. That one, because who better than someone that, has a very good resume, background to come out and say oh, this is what's going on. This is what I've been doing. This is the stuff I've been recovering. When how many whistleblowers have already come out now? It's just more and more keep coming out. And it's nothing that's surprising us, really.
Yeah.
It's okay, now we have egg-shaped UFOs. We've already known that there's been egg-shaped UFOs.
Cigar-shaped UFOs. Hot dog, wiener-shaped UFOs. My favorite, the clitoris-shaped UFOs.
That's right.
Like a Duracell battery. Cylindrical sometimes. Sometimes they're quite small and sometimes they're quite big. The UAPs, that is. Anyway.
But yeah, I honestly don't believe it right now unless there's more actual hard evidence.
So you believe he just came out and made these claims up as a way for the government to get everybody's attention on it?
Yeah, because if anything, he probably did move something like this, and it was probably just recovering a wasp light or something like that, and he doesn't know what it is. They probably didn't tell him what it was. Just hey, you're going to go here. This is what dropped. Showed him what it looked like. Pick it up and bring it here.
Okay.
So he could just be not even knowing it, but then again, I don't believe that it's legit.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree because I got a theory behind this entire thing.
Okay.
I think it is my opinion that Jacob Barber's claims and what he is stating is real. I believe that he was a part of a secret program. I do believe that he recovered crashed crafts. I'm going to say crafts of human origin.
Human origin, not...
I believe this range was for the government and all these other defense contractors that have billions of dollars, like Northern whatever and Skunk Works and all them, that they are developing these almost looks like extraterrestrial crafts that are highly advanced in collaboration with the government. And they use this range to fly them around, and then they get downed, because they crash because they're not working that well. So he has to go, Jacob, or had to go, retrieve these crafts. Now, I believe that there's some hostility between these defense contractors, because you're talking about billions of dollars, possibly trillions of dollars, and this intense technology. Maybe some other country sent in an adversary that tried to recover these hard drives, these tough books, so that they could get that technology. They could see it and they could reproduce it. And now they have these highly advanced vehicles that these defense contractors have been developing at this range with the government. So they hunt down these people, and that's what that was all about. And Jacob Barber believes that these things are so advanced, they're of non-human origin, which I don't think that's the case. I think it is of human origin, and I think the video that we saw was just a wasp light being recovered, that one of the defense contractors maybe released one of these to monitor what the other defense contractors were developing so they could see, okay, well, our UAP or UAP, our craft that we're creating is way better, and then maybe something like that. That's what I truly believe is what's going on. All of these crafts are just of human origin. They're just highly advanced that we aren't aware of.
I can see that. I know that they're just not extraterrestrial, non-human crafts, but it almost makes me think that the range, why they had to use helicopters to pick it up, because this is where they go and they test weapons and all that shit there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's not safe to be on the ground. So pick it up by helicopter is probably one of the only safest ways to really do it.
And maybe if these crafts are really fucking heavy, I mean, you look, there was no road around that egg. It was all desert. It's all desert out there. You aren't going to get a big semi truck out there to transport a craft. It's easier just to have a helicopter go out there, pick it up, transport it to the nearest road, drop it off, or to the nearest secure facility. Way quicker, because you don't have to worry about getting stuck. You don't have to.
Only thing though is
you don't have to load it up.
They had to put it on like a net thing.
Yeah.
So someone had to be down there to help hook it up.
Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe they got some weird deployment system that they're able to scoop them up.
Maybe. And did they know where when he talked about the tough books,
mm-hmm.
Did he say a location?
No.
Because I was going to say, if it was in the range area, maybe just like one of the drones or something exploded or dismantled.
Mm-hmm.
Laptop was connected to this steel box that had the hard drives in it. So the hard drives would be safe and wouldn't get destroyed if something happened.
Mm-hmm.
So they could get the information from it so they could still use it.
Well, what he said is he was contacted by a defense contractor. They said, hey, we got these tough books that need to be recovered. They went and recovered these tough books. After they recovered them and they were considered high value targets, they were like, oh shit, they don't have any hard drives in them. Somebody took the hard drives out of them, and then they ended up getting intelligence that, hey, these hard drives are buried in a steel box 25 feet underwater. And that meant that somebody had taken these tough books from this defense contractor, taken the hard drives out of them, and then buried these hard drives. So they had to go recover all of them. And after recovering all that, they started to recover more high value target tough books, and they go to the next spot and they're missing, and there's traces of, shots being fired, as if like a little scuffle broke out and somebody got there before them. So something is definitely going on behind the scenes with this intelligence, with this technology. I think it's all of human origin. I just think it's a battle between governments, intelligence community, and it all just goes back to money and power. And that's what I truly believe. So
I can see that.
Yep. Regardless, we would love to hear your opinion. And if you believe that these crafts are of human origin or not human origin, or maybe Jacob Barber's lying about the whole thing, or maybe these eggs are just, something to promote the new bad dragon dildos. We may never know. But we would love to hear your opinion. So comment down below. But with that being said, do you have anything else you would like to add to today's episode, Dan?
Nope. Other than that is a weird shaped UFO and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, like we said in our premium episode today, we cover more about the odd egg-shaped UFO along with the 4chan post that was made and the pictures and the videos that were posted. So make sure you go sign up to our Supercast membership and take a listen to that. It's very odd and it's a great episode.
That's right.
But with that being said, I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support and your love and your patience. Without you, we could not do this, and we love you, and we're proud of you.
That's right. Much love.
So with that being said, Dan, would you like to roll us out?
Sure will. It's okay to be out of this world with your thoughts.
Because you are not alone.